The harshest truth about human nature is simple. People rarely value what comes to them without any effort. This isn't because people are heartless, and it isn't because they secretly wish to hurt you. It's because the human brain is wired to place higher value on things that feel scarce, hard to reach, or at risk of being lost. The instant your time, attention, loyalty, and energy become freely available to everyone with no conditions attached, your worth quietly starts fading in their eyes. This is the dark psychology behind value. People don't wake up one day and decide whether to respect you or not. They watch, without even realizing it, how you treat yourself, and then they simply mirror that back to you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to earn respect by constantly giving more. They drop everything the moment someone calls. They say yes even when every part of them wants to say no. They over-explain their choices, over-deliver on favors, and push their own priorities aside just so they don't disappoint anyone. They convince themselves this kind of generosity will make people value them more, but psychology tends to prove the opposite. Every single time you put someone else's needs ahead of your own, again and again, you're sending out one quiet but dangerous signal. My worth is always up for grabs. And once something seems endless and unlimited, the mind stops treating it as something precious. Robert Greene shows again and again that power starts with perception. Long before people respect your skills, they're already sizing up your standards. Before they admire what you've achieved, they're watching how easily they can grab your attention. If they figure out that a bit of flattery can steer you, flattery is exactly what they'll use. If they learn that guilt gets a reaction out of you, guilt becomes their tool. And if they sense that your fear of rejection outweighs your own self-worth, they don't even have to lift a finger to manipulate you. You'll end up doing it to yourself. This is exactly why guarding your value isn't arrogance. It's a form of psychological self-protection. Think about the people who always get taken for granted. They reply to every message within seconds. They rearrange their entire schedule to accommodate everyone but themselves. They let repeated disrespect slide without any real consequences. They keep handing out second chances to people who haven't earned a single one. At first, people might call them kind-hearted, but as time passes, kindness that has no limits quietly turns into predictability. Predictability then turns into expectation, and expectation eventually turns into entitlement. Before long, people stop even wondering if they deserve your time because they've already decided they're entitled to it. Now, picture someone who moves through life differently. They're respectful, but they're also selective. They keep their promises, yet they never abandon their own priorities just to win someone's approval. They help others because they want to, not out of fear of being disliked. Their attention is deliberate, never automatic. They protect their time fiercely because they know it's one of the very few things they can never get back. Without ever raising their voice or demanding to be respected, they create a completely different psychological reaction in others. People instinctively become more careful around them because they sense that access to this person's energy is a privilege, not something owed to them. This is exactly where the dark psychology of value becomes impossible to overlook. Humans are naturally wired to protect what they fear losing. The mere possibility of loss builds appreciation in a way that unlimited access simply never can. When people know you'll always be around no matter how they treat you, they stop putting real effort into the relationship. But the moment they realize your presence is tied to mutual respect, something in their behavior shifts. They start thinking twice before crossing your boundaries. They become more mindful of your time. They stop assuming your loyalty will always be there, just because it always has been. None of this means you have to become cold, selfish, or calculating. Genuine value isn't manufactured by pretending to be important. It's built by respecting yourself enough to protect what actually matters to you. Your attention has worth, your energy has worth, your peace of mind has worth. And if you keep trading those things away for a little temporary approval, people will unconsciously learn that your worth doesn't cost them anything. But the second you stop making that trade, the entire dynamic shifts. Never forget that people study your actions far more closely than they listen to your words. You can tell the whole world to respect you, but if your behavior keeps screaming desperation for acceptance, they'll trust what they see over what you say. The most powerful message you'll ever send isn't spoken out loud. It's shown every single time you refuse to lower your standards just to stay convenient in someone else's life. And once you stop handing your value away for free, the next move is learning to become emotionally untouchable, because nothing earns respect faster than someone whose emotions simply can't be manipulated. The moment you stop giving away your value for free, people start looking for a new way to influence you. They may no longer be able to control your schedule so easily, so instead they'll try to control your emotions. This is where the real test begins. A lot of people are careful to guard their time, but they forget to guard their emotional state. They get rattled by criticism, get carried away by praise, get shaken by rejection, and get pulled off course by other people's opinions. Without even noticing it, they've simply swapped one kind of dependence for another. The dark psychology of value teaches us that real respect is never built on what you own or what you say. It's built by becoming someone who is emotionally impossible to manipulate. Robert Greene often points out that the greatest form of power belongs to whoever stays calm while everyone else around them is losing it. People naturally search for emotional cracks in others. They pay attention to what makes you angry, what makes you feel insecure, what strokes your ego, and what makes you lose your composure. Once they've found those weak spots, they don't need brute force to control you. All they have to do is press the right emotional button, and you'll hand over your own peace willingly. This is why emotional discipline isn't just a personal trait. It's a shield that keeps your value safe from anyone who wants to control it. Notice how easy it is to predict the average person's reactions. A bit of praise and they become overconfident. One small insult and their whole day is ruined. Being ignored fills them with anxiety. A little attention and suddenly they feel important again. Their emotions rise and fall based entirely on someone else's behavior. From the outside, this might look completely normal, but psychologically, it reveals real dependence. Anyone whose emotions can be controlled is also someone whose decisions can be steered. And once people notice that, respect starts to fade because now they know exactly which buttons to press. Now picture someone who operates in a completely different way. They accept compliments without letting it inflate their ego. They take in criticism without immediately getting defensive. They stay composed whether people admire them or dismiss them. Their confidence was never borrowed from public opinion because it was never built on that foundation to begin with. Instead, it comes from self-awareness, discipline, and a clear sense of purpose. This kind of emotional steadiness creates a powerful effect on the people around them. Others become cautious around someone they can't emotionally predict, because manipulation only works when reactions are predictable. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking they need to respond to every attack on their character. They feel this pull to explain themselves, defend every choice, and disprove every accusation. But the harder you try to control what others think of you, the more control you're quietly giving away to them. Every explanation you offer is proof that their opinion has taken up space in your mind. Every emotional reaction you show confirms they've found a way to influence you. Truly strong people understand that not every opinion is worth a response, because not every voice has earned authority over their emotions. This doesn't mean becoming cold, distant, or emotionless. Emotional discipline is completely different from emotional suppression. You still feel disappointment, frustration, and anger just like anyone else. The difference is that you refuse to let a passing emotion make a permanent decision for you. You pause before reacting. You observe before you speak. You ask yourself whether the moment truly deserves your energy, or if someone is simply trying to bait you into a reaction. That single pause can protect months, sometimes even years, of hard-earned respect. There's another psychological truth that most people never notice. Praise can manipulate you just as effectively as criticism can. Someone who understands how badly you crave approval can flatter you until your judgment completely disappears. They tell you exactly what you're longing to hear because they know your ego is far easier to sway than your logic. This is why emotionally grounded people stay balanced through both success and failure. They enjoy recognition, but they never let themselves depend on it. They welcome honest, constructive criticism, but they never let it define who they are. Their emotional core stays steady no matter what's happening around them. Pay attention to how the most respected people almost never rush to react. Their silence isn't hesitation, it's calculation. They know that every emotional response gives away information about them. By staying calm, they force everyone else to show their true intentions first. And while everyone around them is caught up in emotion, they're quietly watching for patterns, motives, and opportunities. That patience gives them a real edge because they respond from a clear mind instead of reacting on impulse. This is where the dark psychology of value starts working in your favor. The instant people realize they can't control you through fear, flattery, guilt, or rejection, they start treating you differently because they know your emotions are no longer up for grabs. Respect builds naturally once others see that your peace can't be bought with compliments or ripped away by criticism. Your greatest strength is no longer what you own. It's the quiet certainty that no one else runs your inner world. And once your emotions become impossible to manipulate, the next step is learning how silence and mystery quietly raise your value without you needing to say a single word. Once you become emotionally hard to manipulate, people start looking for another way to figure you out. They watch your words, your habits, your reactions, and your choices, hoping to guess what you'll do next. This is exactly where most people accidentally weaken their own value. They spill everything. They explain every decision, justify every move, and feel this constant need to make sure everyone gets them. But the dark psychology of value teaches something different. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to control. The less people have to wonder about you, the less effort they put into understanding you. Respect isn't earned by constantly proving yourself. It grows when your actions carry enough weight that your words don't have to. Robert Greene often points out that mystery has always been one of the most powerful forms of influence. Throughout history, powerful people understood that total transparency rarely creates fascination. People are naturally pulled toward what they can't fully explain. The unknown grabs attention because the mind instinctively tries to solve whatever feels incomplete. That's why people tend to remember the one who spoke with purpose more than the one who never stopped talking. Silence leaves space for imagination, and imagination is often more powerful than certainty. Picture someone who's constantly explaining themselves. They defend every rumor, answer every piece of criticism, announce every future plan, and share every personal thought before anyone even asks. At first, this might look honest, But psychologically, it sends the message that they desperately need people to understand and approve of them. The more they talk, the more they give away. Before long, everyone knows exactly what drives them, what scares them, what excites them, and what controls them. Being predictable becomes their biggest weakness because anyone who understands their emotional patterns can pull their strings. Now compare that to someone who chooses their words with care. They're not hiding anything or being dishonest. They just understand that not every thought needs an audience. They let their work speak before their promises do. They let results answer questions that explanations never could. When they're challenged, they stay calm instead of scrambling to defend themselves. When they're misunderstood, they don't panic. They know that time and steady action reveal character far better than endless arguing ever could. This quiet restraint creates a completely different psychological effect. People start paying closer attention because every word carries intention instead of impulse. One of the biggest mistakes people make is mistaking silence for weakness. In reality, silence usually signals confidence. People who feel secure in their own worth rarely feel the need to convince everyone else of it. They understand that constant self-promotion can actually backfire, making their achievements look less genuine. There's power in letting people discover your character slowly instead of laying out every accomplishment at once. Human nature values discovery because what we figure out on our own usually feels more meaningful than what's repeatedly advertised to us. There's another reason mystery earns respect. When people can't completely predict you, they stay mentally hooked. They replay conversations, question their own assumptions, and study your actions more closely. This isn't because you're playing games. It's because uncertainty naturally holds attention. The human mind hates an unfinished puzzle. The less information people have about your intentions, the more energy they spend trying to piece it together. Ironically, saying less often makes your presence feel bigger because people fill the silence with their own curiosity. This idea also protects your goals. A lot of people announce every ambition before they've taken a single step. They're chasing encouragement instead of progress. But once those plans are said out loud, they often lose their momentum. Truly disciplined people understand that quiet action beats loud intention every time. They focus on doing the work while others are busy talking about what they hope to become. When success finally shows up, it speaks with an authority that words could never match. Notice how influential people rarely react to every misunderstanding or defend themselves against every opinion out there. They know that trying to control every perception is a losing game. Instead, they focus on controlling their own conduct. Over time, consistency becomes stronger than any explanation. People stop listening to rumors because they've already seen your character play out through your actions again and again. That's when respect becomes rooted in reality instead of a passing impression. The dark psychology of value reminds us that every unnecessary explanation gives away a piece of your power. Every moment of thoughtful silence makes that power stronger. When your words are few but meaningful, people listen more closely. When your actions consistently line up with your principles, people stop needing constant reassurance about who you are. Your values start speaking before you do, and your presence carries a quiet authority that can't be faked through endless talking. And once silence and mystery start raising your value, the next step is building a life so disciplined and purposeful that your presence becomes genuinely hard to replace. By now, you've learned that value starts with protecting your time, your attention, and your emotional balance. But there's another truth that separates respected people from those who keep getting overlooked. People don't respect potential, nearly as much as they respect proof. You can tell people you're talented, smart, or capable, but words alone rarely build lasting influence. Respect grows when your life becomes undeniable evidence of discipline, skill, and purpose. The dark psychology of value shows us that people naturally give more worth to those who become hard to replace. The less you depend on outside approval and the more valuable your abilities become, the harder it is for anyone to ignore or underestimate you. Robert Greene often shows that real power is never borrowed from popularity. It comes from becoming exceptionally skilled at something others can't easily copy. Throughout history, the people who commanded the deepest respect weren't the ones demanding recognition. They mastered their craft, and recognition simply followed them. Their confidence wasn't built on compliments because it was backed by competence. They understood a timeless truth. When your skills create real value, your reputation starts speaking before you even walk into the room. Most people make the mistake of putting more energy into looking successful than actually becoming successful. They spend hours trying to seem confident while ignoring the habits that would actually build real confidence. They chase validation instead of mastery. They chase attention instead of excellence. At first, this might attract some temporary admiration, but eventually reality exposes the gap. Image fades fast when there's no substance holding it up. Human psychology has a remarkable ability to spot authenticity over time. The person who quietly gets better every day will always outlast the person who's constantly begging for applause. Picture two people starting the same job. The first spends every chance they get talking about their abilities, reminding everyone of their achievements, and trying to impress the people around them. The second says very little. Instead, they consistently solve hard problems, keep their promises, show up prepared, and sharpen their skills without asking for credit. Months later, who ends up earning deeper respect? Almost always, it's the second person. Their value is no longer based on opinion. It's based on undeniable results. And results silence doubt in a way words never can. This is where the psychology of value becomes incredibly powerful. People instinctively protect relationships with those who consistently make their lives better. If you bring solutions instead of excuses, discipline instead of chaos, and reliability instead of inconsistency, others start connecting your name with value. That connection changes how they act around you. They listen more carefully. They appreciate your time more deeply. They think twice before risking your trust, because they understand that replacing someone of real value is never easy. Another mistake a lot of people make is letting their identity depend on one relationship, one job, or one person's opinion. This creates a hidden weakness because your confidence becomes tied to something you can't fully control. But when you keep growing your knowledge, your communication, your discipline, and your character, your worth starts coming from within instead of from outside. You stop being afraid of losing opportunities because you know you have the ability to build new ones. That calm certainty changes how people see you. Confidence that comes from real skill feels nothing like confidence built on empty talk. Having a sense of purpose also matters a great deal when it comes to earning respect. People are naturally drawn to those whose lives have a clear direction. Someone with meaningful goals doesn't spend every hour chasing approval because their focus is on something much bigger. They understand that every day spent bettering themselves raises their worth tomorrow. This long-term way of thinking creates a powerful effect on the mind. Others start to notice that your life doesn't revolve around winning their acceptance. Instead, they realize that if they want to stay part of your journey, they need to bring value to it too. Here's a harsh truth. People tend to test those who seem unsure of themselves, but they rarely challenge those who consistently show strength through their actions. When your standards stay high, your work stays excellent, and your discipline stays steady, you quietly remove the need to demand respect. Your way of living becomes the proof. Your habits speak for you. Every choice you make sends the message that your worth is earned through effort, not handed to you by someone else's approval. Never forget this idea. The world doesn't reward people who just claim to be important. It rewards those who become impossible to replace. When your presence keeps creating value, people stop treating you as optional and start treating you as essential. That's when respect changes from something you chase into something people freely give, because true excellence carries a psychological weight that no amount of talking can ever match. And once your worth becomes undeniable through discipline and purpose, the next step is making sure that anyone who disrespects you learns that respect always costs less than disrespect does. Once your value rests on discipline, skill, and purpose, there's one last test that decides whether people keep respecting you or slowly start pushing your limits. Human nature pays close attention. People notice what you put up with even more than what you say. They notice the jokes you brush off, the broken promises you excuse, the repeated disrespect you let slide, and the boundaries you fail to hold. This is where the darker side of psychology around value becomes hard to ignore. If your standards never have consequences, they eventually stop meaning anything. Respect isn't kept alive by setting rules. It's kept alive by showing that crossing your standards actually changes the relationship. Robert Greene often points out that power comes less from intimidation and more from consistency. A lot of people think respect comes from winning arguments or acting tough. In truth, emotional outbursts often weaken your authority because they show a loss of self-control. People who are truly respected rarely need dramatic confrontations. Instead, they quietly shift their behavior when someone keeps crossing the line. They pull back unnecessary access, invest less, and stop rewarding disrespect with their time and attention. This calm, steady response leaves a far stronger psychological mark than anger ever could. Think about someone who constantly complains about being disrespected, but never actually changes how they react. Every time they're ignored, they keep chasing. Every time they're taken for granted, they keep giving more. Every time their trust is broken, they instantly hand out another chance without asking for any real change. What does this teach people? It tells them your boundaries can be negotiated. Over time, others stop wondering whether they can cross the line, because experience has shown them that nothing real happens if they do. Now picture the opposite. Someone stays polite, calm, and respectful, but the moment a pattern of disrespect shows up, they respond with quiet action instead of an emotional scene. They stop putting energy into places where it isn't appreciated. They don't argue, beg, or try to get even. They simply pull their time, attention, and energy away from relationships that keep ignoring their standards. At first, this quiet response might confuse people. They expected another argument, another explanation, another emotional reaction. Instead, they're left facing something far more powerful: the reality of losing access to someone who knows their own worth. This is one of the strongest psychological truths behind respect. People naturally repeat behaviors that get rewarded and slowly drop behaviors that bring real consequences. If disrespect never costs anything, it quietly becomes normal. But when people realize that crossing your boundaries means less access, less trust, and fewer chances, they start changing how they act. Not because they were forced through fear, but because people naturally protect what they're afraid of losing. The chance of losing your presence often teaches a lesson that no argument ever could. There's an important difference here, though. Consequences are not the same as revenge. Revenge comes from anger and a wish to make someone suffer. Consequences come from self-respect and a decision to protect your peace. One is about controlling another person. The other is simply about refusing to reward harmful behavior. This difference is what separates emotional maturity from emotional impulsiveness. You're not trying to punish people for letting you down. You're deciding that your life has no space left for repeated disrespect. A lot of people are scared to set boundaries because they worry others will see them as cold or difficult. But think about the alternative. Every time you stay quiet while someone repeatedly crosses your standards, you're also sending yourself a message. You're teaching your own mind that your peace matters less than keeping someone else comfortable. Over time, this slowly wears down your confidence from the inside. Self-respect grows stronger every time your actions match your principles. It weakens every time you abandon those principles just to avoid a little discomfort. Notice how the most respected people rarely give long speeches about their boundaries. They don't keep reminding others how they expect to be treated. Instead, their actions make those expectations completely clear. If trust keeps getting broken, they step back. If loyalty gets abused, they cut down access. If respect disappears, they refuse to keep investing as if nothing happened. Their consistency builds certainty, and certainty earns respect because people always know exactly where they stand with you. The darker psychology of value teaches that people don't truly understand how important your presence is until they feel what life is like without full access to it. Your time, attention, trust, and loyalty aren't endless resources you should hand out no matter how you're treated. They're privileges that should only exist where respect exists. The moment your actions start reflecting that truth, people stop seeing your boundaries as suggestions and start seeing them as part of who you are. And once people understand that disrespect always comes with a price, the last step is building a reputation so strong that your name alone earns respect before you've even said a word. Everything we've covered leads to one final idea, the one that decides whether respect becomes lasting or just temporary. You can protect your value, control your emotions, keep an air of mystery, build real skill, and hold firm boundaries. But none of it will matter if people see your behavior shifting depending on the situation. People don't place their deepest respect in talent alone. They place it in consistency. The darker psychology of value teaches that people trust patterns more than promises. They watch what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally say. Over time, those repeated actions become your reputation. And once a reputation is set, it starts shaping how people see you before you even open your mouth. Robert Greene often reminds us that reputation is one of the most powerful forms of quiet influence. It enters every room before you do. People hear your name, remember what you've done in the past, and instantly start forming expectations. If your reputation is built on emotional instability, broken promises, or weak boundaries, people will approach you already expecting those same patterns. But if your reputation is built on discipline, reliability, self-respect, and calm confidence, people naturally become more careful about how they treat you. They don't wait for you to demand respect because your history has already shown them what happens when your standards are ignored.